Okay, welcome to a new episode of Nate's MMA Corner. I am Nate, and if you watch my show, you're in my corner. Today's episode is a double header. You get a post-fight show for UFC 185 main card, and then a pre-fight show for UFC Fight Night, Maia vs. LaFlare main card. Yeah, so got a lot to cover, so let's get started with the UFC 185 post-fight rundown of the main card. And oh boy, yeah, whew. Yeah, you know, just so you guys know, I'm still eating my Wheaties, you know, okay? Yeah, I know he lost the belt. I know Rafael dos Anjos won every round decisively and won a clean, unanimous decision, and dominated on strikes and takedowns and you name it on Anthony Showtime Pettis, and I was devastated. No one saw it coming. I thought Anthony Pettis was going to win this, and I'm devastated. My good buddy Anthony Showtime Pettis, the guy on the cover of the Wheaties box. Oh, my good buddy. Yeah, he lost the belt. I was devastated, and I hope he gets the belt back. But I'm happy for Rafael dos Anjos because he's been in the UFC for ages, fighting on the prelims and working his way up to the main card. And next thing you know, main event against Benson Henderson, and then on to fighting Anthony Pettis, main event of UFC 185 for the UFC Lightweight Championship of the World. Yeah, so that was the main event. For the 155-pound title. Yeah, yeah. Anthony Showtime Pettis, please get the belt back. I am giving you a decent shot at getting the belt back. I think there's a lot of steep competition right now in the lightweight division, but I think he can get back on track, get the belt back. But hopefully, Rafael dos Anjos. If it comes down to it, can beat Khabib Nurmagomedov in a rematch, defending the belt if it comes down to that. But hopefully he'll end up fighting Donald Cerrone instead. So, yeah, then, if that wasn't devastating enough, Sergio Pettis fought on the prelims against Ryan Benoit and lost on the prelims. It was TKO punches second round to Ryan Benoit. Sergio Pettis was looking great, and that's, as you all know, Sergio is Anthony Pettis' younger brother. Yeah, Ryan Benoit won that on the prelims. Oh, man. And then if that wasn't devastating enough, on the co-main event for the UFC Women's Strawweight Championship of the World, just bear with me. Carla Esparza, my good buddy, she lost by TKO punches. Yeah, round two, late in the second round to Joanna Jacek. I think I said that right. Does anyone say her name right? Yeah, Joanna Jacek. Yeah, the Polish striking champion turned MMA fighter. I had this one close too, you know. I was like, well, it's either going to be Carla Esparza's wrestling. If she pushes the pressure and eventually gets the takedown, then she can do well on getting dominant positions and ground and pound and maybe work a submission. But if she can't, then this will be a long night and she could lose. And unfortunately, that's what happened. She kept pushing for the takedowns, didn't get most of them, and then Joanna kept it standing and landed strikes and just truly outstruck her, had a height and reach advantage by a landslide, and unfortunately won by TKO punches round two. I was devastated. But Carla, hang in there. You can do it. You can get the belt back. I think Carla came in with a great game plan against Joanna. If I were a coach, I would have said the same thing, and it didn't pan out that night, but, you know, as they say, any given Sunday sometimes. So just hang in there. I think Carla can win some more matches, get back in title mix, and Yeah, she's only really one or two victories away from getting another shot at the belt. So hang in there, Carla. And I like a lot of the fighters at her camp. I like the tribute they had there for Shane Del Rosario. Whew. Yeah, so, man, yeah, it was a rough pay-per-view, but on to some good points. The rest of the main card, we had a welterweight clash with Johnny Hendricks and Matt Brown, and that went to a unanimous decision win for Johnny Hendricks. He just outstruck Matt Brown and then would work combinations and then go for the takedown, work combinations, go for a takedown. It was pretty much repeat process for all 3 rounds essentially. And it was a good game plan. It may not have been the most glamorous game plan, but it worked. And it is about getting that W. Of course, I wish Johnny Hendricks had a flashy knockout or Matt Brown, but, you know, whatever works for whatever fighter on that night. I mean, Johnny Hendricks, he seemed disappointed he didn't get the finish, but he got the W, and that's ultimately what matters. Yeah, so Johnny Hendricks, combinations, takedown, repeat process each of the 3 rounds, en route to a 30-27 unanimous decision victory in the welterweight division. Yeah, then on to the fight of the night, in my opinion, the greatest fight on the whole pay-per-view card as far as I'm concerned. The heavyweight clash with Alistair Overeem and Roy Nelson. Yeah, Alistair Overeem outpointed Roy Nelson on strikes. He landed some good kicks and knees and kept his distance and landed some good punches. And he blocked that overhand right of Roy Nelson and was able to dodge some heavy strikes from Roy Nelson. It was smart on Alistair. I wish he wouldn't back up in the corner too much, move more side to side with a guy like Roy Nelson. But yeah, he hung in there and he was able to block shots and dodge shots still and not take too much damage and en route to unanimous decision, which was, yeah, again 30-27 on this match as well. Good job, Alistair Overeem. As many of you know, he is probably my favorite fighter in the sport today. Him and Alexander Gustafsson. Those two are probably just overall my 2 favorite fighters in the sport today as we speak at this point in time, because as you know, things change all the time in the sport. Yeah, so good job, Alistair Overeem, and they say he's 1 or 2 matches away from a title shot now, so hopefully he gets a title shot and does maybe a rematch against Fabricio Verdum. They had some great rivalries in the past, so that would make for a good matchup. Then to kick off the main card, we had a flyweight clash with Henry Cejudo and Chris Carriazo, and I picked Henry Cejudo to win this one. And sure enough, yeah, he won unanimous decision on this one, and I knew it's going to be the wrestling in the heavy hands of Chris Carriazo, and that's what worked. I mean, he controlled the fight real well, good pace, everything. And I like Chris Carriazo. I wanted him to win, but I liked Henry Cejudo too, and I think he did a good job mixing things up and not just being a predictable fighter using just his wrestling. And he really showcased his striking clinic in this one. So he mixed things up each and every round and en route to a unanimous decision victory. Great fight. Now on to the pre-fight show of the main card of UFC Fight Night, Maia versus LaFlare. So the main event is a welterweight clash with Damian Maia and Ryan LaFlare, and I'm picking Ryan LaFlare to win this. But you know what, Damian Maia, if you're watching, I don't mind if you win too. I just got to separate sometimes what I want to happen and what I think's going to happen. And yeah, you know, Damian, dude, you're a cool guy, but I think that Ryan LaFlare's submission defense is going to hold up. I think he's going to keep it standing, but he can also use his wrestling if need be. And if Maia goes for submissions on the bottom, Ryan LaFlare will be good enough to get out of the submissions and really put up a good defense against submission, so I think Ryan LaFlare could win with ground and pound and strikes, standing, and possibly a knockout. I had this fight. I'm picking Ryan LaFlare to win by unanimous decision in this one. So yeah, it's gonna be a long night, but yeah, I think it goes unanimous decision for Ryan LaFlare, all 5 5-minute rounds. Yeah, then on to the co-main event. I'm picking Eric Silva over Josh Koscheck, and also a welterweight bout. Yeah, I'm picking Silva by KO TKO round 1 because I think Silva has heavy hands, especially in the welterweight division. And Josh Koscheck's shin's questionable now, but I like Josh Koscheck, but I think he needs to retire now. It's sad to see him get knocked out all these times. You know, I still root for him, but yeah, and I guess I'll root for Josh Koscheck in this one, but I'm picking Eric Silva to win by knockout. Yeah, then also on the main card we have in the lightweight division Leonardo Santos versus Tony Martin. Now this one was close, but I'm picking Santos by decision. I think he's just more well-rounded, just better experienced veteran fighter, but they're both experienced veteran fighters. But I just think, yeah, Leonardo Santos, he's going to be able to mix things up a little bit better and get that unanimous decision victory in the lightweight division. Yeah, then also on the main card we have a women's bantamweight bout with Amanda Nunes and Shayna Baszler. Now, a lot of people know I'm a Shayna Baszler fan. She's from the Midwest, Upper Midwest, the Dakotas. I can't root against anyone from North or South Dakota. That's a discussion for a whole different day. Pretty much if you're a fighter, born and raised your entire life in North or South Dakota, I will probably root for you. A lot of people don't know Ronda Rousey has ties to the Dakotas. But she was raised in California, but you know, she lived in California, you know, so, but nonetheless she has ties to Dakotas. That's why I like Ronda Rousey so much, and she's good buddies with Ronda Rousey. Yeah, Shayna Baszler, I think she's an experienced veteran in this sport. You know, she's been fighting for years and years and years now, but I think Amanda Nunes is on a whole nother level, and I think that she will get KO/TKO round 2. And again, this is one of those fights, what I want to happen, what I think is going to happen are two different things. I want Shayna Baszler to win this fight, but I think Amanda Nunes, just heavier hands, fought the tougher competition more recently in the UFC. And yeah, just yeah, I think that Amanda Nunes gets it done in round 2 by knockout. Yeah, then on to lightweight bout, also on the main card. Gilbert Burns and Alex Oliveira. I am picking Burns by decision. I think he's just, again, he's a overall more well-rounded fighter, and he gets it done by decision, unanimous. Not a whole lot to say about that fight. Gilbert Burns, he's definitely a veteran. Yeah, then also on the main card we have a featherweight bout to kick off the main card, which is Castro versus Andre Fili. Yeah, that's Godofredo Castro versus Andre Fili. Now, this one I kind of went back and forth on, but I'm going to go with Andre Fili because he trains at Team Alpha Male with Uriah Faber, and I think they have good camp, and they're not afraid of fighting in Brazil because this fight card's in Brazil. And yeah, Chad Mendes proved that against Jose Aldo in the rematch in Brazil, that he wasn't afraid to give it his all, even though he lost that fight, to go after the win in Brazil. And I think Andre Fili's just a top prospect to look out for in the featherweight division. I think a few more wins, we definitely see him in title talks. So look out for Andre Touchy Fili. That's his nickname, as you all know. And yeah, that wraps up the pre-fight show for UFC Fight Night Maia vs. LaFlare. Stay tuned for my next episode, which will be a post-fight show for this card. And until then, see ya.